The same year his daughter Vicky was born, Frank grew tired of directing the band as local men left to serve their country during World War II. Wanting to serve his country himself, Frank enlisted in the Navy in 1944. It's hard to envision leaving a wife and 2 children and going off to war. But that was his dedication to serve a country that had given such opportunity to a family of immigrants. As a lieutenant, Frank volunteered to be trained to operate a new, secret invention: radar. Of the original 80 who volunteered, only 30 were selected, and of those 30, Frank was the top. As a result, Frank was assigned to the USS Estes.
But it was a very nondescript ship that was very, very important, because all of the top brass of every department of war was on that ship.
The Estes was in charge of the reconnaissance and pre-invasion bombardment of Iwo Jima.
And we were really close then, see? And then the Japs got woken up, you might say, and they started shooting mortar shells at us. And the shells were overshooting us. That's how close we were.
Watching from the Estes, Frank saw the famed raising of the American flag. Actually, he saw not just one, but 2 flags raised. The first one was too small, so they got a larger flag, one which made for a better picture. Frank saw both from the Estes. After the battle for Iwo Jima was over, in April of 1945, the Estes moved to the island of Okinawa. The Estes was in charge of the pre-invasion of Okinawa. The Estes escaped a torpedo and shot down a kamikaze attack. After Okinawa, Japan would be the final conflict. While preparing to invade Japan, the Estes heard of the atomic bombs dropping on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, throughout his time on the Estes, Frank gathered those who could play instruments and formed a band for the entertainment of the soldiers. After receiving Japanese soldiers surrendering, the Estes sailed for Shanghai, China. While there, the Shanghai Symphony Orchestra was giving a concert, and it wanted more instruments for Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture. They asked Frank's makeshift band to join them. Papers raved about the concert, and Admiral Cook agreed to allow Frank to conduct the orchestra as long as his name appeared on the program. And so for a year, Frank received a special assignment as an official cultural representative to the government of China. The rather wealthy merchants of Shanghai of the city prided themselves with their orchestra. They had hired many musicians that had fled out of Europe during World War II. One such musician is worth noting. Frank was rehearsing an all-Tchaikovsky concert. During break, a certain cellist came up to Frank and told him that he had premiered several of the works under Tchaikovsky.
All I had to do, if I got up there with my hands, and if I just changed like this, they changed. They changed right with you. And that really scare you. So what it does to you, it means you better watch every single moment, because they react.
The rather wealthy merchants of Shanghai of the city prided themselves with their orchestra. They had hired many musicians that had fled out of Europe during World War II. One such musician is worth noting. Frank was rehearsing an all-Tchaikovsky concert. During break, a certain cellist came up to Frank and told him that he had premiered several of the works under Tchaikovsky.
Well, he told me that that Tchaikovsky wanted this like this and this like that, like that. It's really a real lesson.
And he had actually premiered the work?
Yes.
Under Tchaikovsky?
Yeah. He was with the premier orchestra.